So let's start. For that, I'm opening a new file for this Jupyter Colab, and we're going to start the tuple. So let me give you an introduction on this tuple data structure. It's again important one of the data structure in Python. And what is the difference between tuple and the list data structure is tuple is immutable, whereas list is mutable. What do you
Okay.
mean by this? Means the content of tuple you cannot change once you initialize it, but the list you can change it. So this is the difference between these two, and based on the use cases or based on the requirement, we use the data structure. However, accessing the element and structure will always remain same. Only few things are different. We're going to see that. So tuple is immutable, and list is mutable.
So like once you define it, you can't like add anything or like change
Yes,
anything.
yeah, correct. So how the structure is usually there. Whenever we declare a list, how we declare it? For example, a list is a variable, and we declare an element like this, right?
Yes.
Right. This is about a list, and when you're going to print it, it will going to give you. When you want to access an element based on any index, it will be print like this. What if you write like this? So now you can see here, right, that once
Yes.
you initialize the list, and if you want to rechange the element, you can easily change it. So this is about the list data structure. That list is mutable. You can change the element at any time. Okay, this is about the list. But what is the difference between the list and tuple, and how you can declare the list tuple? For tuple, the only difference is that instead of square bracket, you will going to take a circular bracket. In order to declare a tuple, in place of a square bracket, you will going to take a circular bracket. So rest of the thing will remain same. For example, I am taking one keyword, okay, disco, and just 1 minute. So let me take a declare some more element, 2 3 4 5, right? Like this tuple I have declared it, and if you want to print, just write down the variable name of a tuple and execute it. So you can see the tuple is coming in the form of circular bracket, right? And
Yes.
suppose if you want to access the element, how you can access it? A variable 0, and to accessing an element also, you have to pass a square bracket, not a circular bracket. Only While declaring a tuple, we have to pass a circular bracket. So let's see that. So you can see when we want tuple 0, it's going to give you disco. But when you want to write, so you can see here, you are getting an error, right? And you can getting an error with a statement, tuple object does not support item assignment. What does it mean? Once you initialize an element to the tuple, you
You
cannot
can't
reach in.
assign. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yes.
cannot reassign the value. So that's the reason we are getting an error here in tuple. We cannot reassign a value. Okay, rest thing will remain same only. So in order to show you that in tuple we cannot reassign a value and it is not mutable, I've shown you like how this error will come. So whenever you get an error in the Python, from the statement only you can get an idea how to resolve that and what actually the error it is. Okay, but how you access the element will remain same only. For example, if you want to access an element from index 0 to all the index, you can just write down print variable tuple and close it and enter. So you can see you can get all the element. When you want to get an element starting from the index 0 all, then you just have to take 0 colon and you don't have to specify the and. It means that it will going to access all the element, or you can say it will going to print all element from index 0 till the end. Are you getting?
Yes.
Okay. Now next thing is, suppose if you want to print in the reverse direction, how will going to print that?
Minus. Isn't it
Hmm.
-1? Like it
Hmm.
starts from the back.
Yeah. So for that, same thing we do that we have seen in the list tuple, and to that square bracket we're going to pass. So you can see it's printing in the reverse direction. What does it mean? All the rows, all the column from the end -1. Whenever you see only single colon, it means that all the rows, okay, like here, all the rows from starting index 0 till end. And when you see like this, it means that all the rows, okay, and without taking care of the intervention between them in the reverse direction. That's why it's printing 5 4 3 2 1 disco, right? And it is also a mixed type, means you can declare any type of a data here, right? If you want to process a specific element, then you can process it like here from 2 to 4. So you can get an element. So this is called as a tuple. Tuple, and always remember, you cannot rechange the element of a tuple. If you try to rechange, you will get an error. There are few more operation you can do it in a tuple. For example, suppose you declare a tuple 3 one variable, or tuple 2, and inside this you declare python comma python You can see here. Accordingly, you should get an error, right? Because you haven't declared any element and you are giving comma, but still you are printing, right? So this is the beauty of that tuple. Repetition in the tuple. Whenever you want to repeat any element, you can just multiply with 3 and you can give a comma. So it will going to print that. So this operation also you can perform in the tuple. You can concatenate as well. Suppose if you want to concatenate any two tuple, okay. For example, you just write down print tuple tuple plus tuple 2. So you can see here, you can get the combination of both tuple and a tuple 2, right? So these are the multiple operation that you can do it with tuple.
1 plus tuple. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
right. So here this concatenation is just adding the element of a tuple 2 with the previous one. So there will be a no error if you declare like this. Suppose if you declare a tuple of a variable, and so you can see here, right? So it means that always when you write like this one comma, it means that there is something more element that you wanted to read, but you don't have right now. So you can, this will also work.
Okay. So do you have to add the comma, or like is it fine without the comma?
Yeah, it is fine.
But like you can't add anything after the comma, right?
Yes.
Like after once you have declared the tuple, like you can't add
Yeah,
anything.
right. For example, let me do that. So suppose if I do tup same variable and I will
Hmm.
do 1 comma 2 comma 3. Wait. So here when you declare 1 comma, it means that you can add an element in that. Sorry, like once you here once you write like this 1 comma, you can still add an element to that, but in that case you have to kept it as an empty here. But what I've explained you in the previously, like indexing, while indexing it won't be changed. Let me explain you once again. See, what we have seen here, that I was declaring a tuple, and while changing you were getting an error, right? Like this type of thing, right? Because
Yes.
you were fixed about that. You know that in the tuple these are the element, and if you try to change any of the index you will get an error. But what if in this case, I wanted to tell you, that's why I've added this example. What if in this case that I am adding 1 comma? It means that some more element that is already present, but you have not added in the tuple. So when you're going to reuse that tuple variable and add an element, that will going to work. Here you won't get any error. Okay, because why? Because you have declared this same variable earlier with 1 comma, which means that you have a still element to add in that, but right now you don't have, so you just kept it like this 1 comma, means it is waiting for some more element to be added to this tuple. So in that case when you recreate it, it will going to work. But if you declare already a tuple like this, and inside this you have an element, and in that case if you want to change it, then it will going to give you an error. See, because
Okay.
you are all the elements are fixed. You are not waiting for element to add. So always remember this question is usually asked in the interview. They might give you two scenario. One is this one. Here, if they ask you what is this, then you should say that in this tuple variable tup, in this tuple variable tup, we are waiting for some more element to add.
So means like if you want to add elements in the future, you just like add a comma
Yeah.
at the end.
Yes.
So you can add.
So
Okay.
yeah. So suppose in future, if you want to add some more element uh, to uh, to add some more element after one, you can add it. So it won't give you an error because you have declared like this. Okay. You have declared tup equal to 1 comma. So it is waiting for some more element to add. So that's why I've shown you this example to understand what is the difference between this kind of a declaration and this kind of a declaration. Now, recently in the interview, one question was asked to me. I'm going to share with you that. So they have given me one question. Okay, this is like it's this about a list. Okay, they created one list and they enter an element B, C, D. Okay, they created the list. And they created the list and they asked me like if you want to um, remove the last element, how you're going to remove it.
Can't you do letter is equal to letter in square brackets colon -1?
Sorry, can you tell me once again?
One second. I'll just run it. I'm sure. Like, how do you like the way you use the colons to like slice the list?
Yeah,
So what if
but
we slice the last?
yeah, but that is just that is for accessing an element. So if you slice is you are just out of that you are just printing it, but you are not removing. Suppose if you want to remove the last element, this is I already explained you I think in the last class, but let me remind you once. If you use a pop function, it will going to remove the last element. You can see here letter dot pop. Now if you just write letter, so you see you will not get the last element. So
Okay.
this is the thing that you can um, remove the element from the last with this pop function. One more question they ask me, like suppose how you can swap the element. Suppose you're going to tell me, suppose if I wanted to do this, will it be supporting or not? Suppose I wanted to replace A and B with B and A, so will it be going to work? So will it be going to work?
I don't think it will work.
You can see here, it will going to work.
Oh,
What we were doing, do you understand here? We were swapping the element here. Letter 0, letter 1, letter 1 and letter 0. In Python, you can initialize multiple variable at the same time. What I'm doing now here, I'm initializing the two variable at the same time. Letter 0 will be what? A. That will be going to replace by B, and letter B is going to be replaced by A. So that's the beauty here, that you are swapping an element. You are swapping an element here, and Python is a dynamic language that you can initialize a multiple variable at the same time. So always remember this question, based on my personal like experience in the interview I'm sharing you. A few
okay.
days before only, this two question they asked me. I was aware about it, so I was able to answer it. But those who are not, but same question they asked me before also in the placement. At that time, I was new this function, but I was not able to answer it. I thought it will going to give an error, but I realized it will going to work. So always remember, if they ask you how you can swap an element of a same tuple or a list, okay, you should be
Yeah.
able to answer it. So this is for removing a last element. Last element in a list. So we have done two things here. Okay, what we have learned here, reinitializing the variable or reinitializing the list. As you can see, when we do reinitializing here to the list, we are not getting any error. Reinitializing the list that we have seen here. Okay, second thing what we have seen here, swapping of an element, means you are swapping letter which are present at index 0 by 1 and 1 by 0, right? Swapping of element. So this is about how you can access an element. Now suppose if you want to insert at the beginning, okay, if you want to insert, there is one more function, insert. If you want to insert an element, then how you can insert it? Just you have to type it index 0 and add an element, suppose F. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me try with another one. Or I think insert might be deprecated from Python 3. Let me check it if it is there. Okay, take it in index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me take 5. Built-in function or method object is not subscribed. Okay, I think this insert function now is not more available in Python 3. They have removed it. Okay, let me try with another one. Instead of insert, we can use append. What? Okay, just I think, okay, we can do like this as well. Okay, let me try. Okay, with insert only. Let me change it 0. Huh. Actually, I was taking
Okay.
a square bracket parenthesis. I should take. Yeah, it's a formula. It's a function. I was taking square bracket. Sorry. Insert will going to be work. It's not a deprecated. Otherwise, we should have get some other error. So when I will going to check it with letter, so you can see you can add it as well, right? And you can add it in a particular index. But if you want to add at the end, you will going to use append. So what is the difference between these two? Are you getting the difference between append and insert?
Yeah. Append. Yes. Yes.
Append will going to add at the end of the list. Okay, but insert, you can insert it in a specific position, like on
Wherever you
index. Yeah.
mention. Yes.
So I'm adding a comment else as well, that insert is going to use when you want to add in a specific position. These are the small thing, but they usually ask in the interview in difference between insert, append. So you should be aware about it. What is the difference in the data engineering? These are the only thing how you can access the data, how you can manipulate the data. So insert function is used. Insert is used to insert element on a specific position. So insert is used to add element on specific position.
And append is at the end.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. Now append is used to add at the end. So here append we are using to add an element at the end. So this is about append function and all. Now, if you want to add multiple element at the end, how you're going to do that?
At the end.
Hmm. If you want to add a multiple element, so there is one more function, okay, that is called extend function.
Extend. Okay.
Okay, so suppose if you want to extend it, just write letter dot extend and pass the variable name that you want to add it. Then just check the same list letter. Now you see that the element is added. So append is used to add an element, and similarly extend is also used to add an element here. Okay, but when you want to add a more element, you can extend it with another list. So when you want to add multiple element, or when you want to add another list, then we're going to use extend keyword.
Okay.
So always remember this difference between insert, append, and extend. 90% time they ask you this question. If you have done work with the Python data structure, being a data engineer, you might have done work with extend keyword, append keyword, insert keyword. So you should be able to answer this. What is the difference between these three? So when you want to insert or when you want to add another list, or multiple element, at same time, then we go for extend keyword. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So one more thing about the tuple that I wanted to tell you. Suppose if I declare like this, will it work or not? If I create an empty tuple, will it going to work or it will going to give an error?
I don't know. If you add a comma, it shouldn't give an error. But I don't know if if it will give an error if it's empty.
Okay, let's run this. See this. It won't give an error
Oh,
if you declare an empty. It won't show you anything, but it will work. Now, if you say that if you wanted to create a comma,
hmm.
it will give an error,
Oh, okay.
right?
So you can't have an empty tuple where you can
Yes,
add things later.
yes. So now here, comma, if you give, then it means that what? You don't have any element, and then based on that, how can you give a comma, right? Means
Okay.
here, the thing is that when you give a one comma, then you can add an element to it. Means it will going to be wait for some more element, one comma. But if you give only one comma we usually add in what case? When we have a multiple element, right? 1 comma 2 comma 3, just like w b a c are coming, right? But if
Yes.
you just add a comma, it means there is no significance in that, so that's why it's giving an error. So you can create an empty tuple as well. There's also, they ask, can you create an empty tuple? Yeah, we can create an empty tuple. So we can create an empty tuple in Python. Now, one more thing, if you, there is one more way, right? If you want to check any element present in the tuple or list or not, how you can check it? Suppose letter. So, or we have declared a tuple, right? Tup 1 2 3. So if I wanted to check is 3 in tup, so you can write down and you can run it. So you can see it's printing true. Why it's printing true? Because 3 is present. But if I write 4 in tup, it's printing
False.
false, right? Because false, it's not present with referring to this one. So this way also you can check an element, and in the data engineering or like in any machine learning project, we usually check it because we have to look into the data, that whether the data is present or not. So there this kind of code is required, whether the data is present or not. Similarly, you can check in this way as well. Suppose 4, I'm writing this 4 not in tup. So it will going to give you true, right? Because 4 is not there in the tup
It's not
variable.
there. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this way also you can check it. Yeah, and what accessing an element based on the indexes that I've explained you, that are called as a slicing. What do you mean by that? That are called as a slicing. So always remember, like accessing the element based on the index. These all are called as a slicing that we have seen here. Yeah, this part, like this one, right? This is called as a slicing. Slicing means what? How you can access an element. Okay, let me explain you again. That's slicing. Suppose you have this new tuple I'm creating, a comma. I'm going to share this code with you so you can just practice this and keep all these files with you. So this will be helpful in the time of an interviews and preparation. Okay. So suppose this is a tuple I have created it. Okay. Now slicing means what? Slicing means accessing an element based on the index. So slicing means you are dividing. Slicing generally mean that you divide some collection into the small pieces, right? So slicing,
Yes.
you slice the mango, you slice the apple, or like that. So slicing means cutting down in the small pieces or specific element. So accessing an element based on the index, that is called slicing. So you should be aware about this term. That's why I'm telling you, so that uh, you might be aware about the concept, but the term should be you should be clear so that you can you won't get any confuse here. Now here, what does it mean? It mean that print all the element till index 4 and minus 1. Let me run this, and it is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Why it is printing till 3 index, not
Is
till
it
4?
only n minus 1?
Yeah, so it follow n minus 1, right? So this is called slicing, means you slide down, you cut down the whole index into the 4 element, right? Similarly, if you want in the reverse direction, how we're going to write? Suppose let me take minus 4 colon. So you can see when you write a minus 4, it will going to print here 2, 3, 4, 5, means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you write like this, it means that when you write in this way, it means that from the end, the last four you want to print it. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that minus 4 index you are going to start like minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, then you are going to print 2, 1 and m. No, don't get confused here. Minus 4, it means that in case whenever you start with minus 4, it means that from the end, okay, you will going to start with minus 4 index. So you will going to move in which direction? From left to right only. That's why it will going to print 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you understand what I said?
Yes, okay.
So this thing you should be clear, because this is the only thing that we usually, the people they ask, like why you are getting an error, right? So you should be aware about it.
Okay. Direction, okay. Yes. Well, what if I want to reverse the tuple? Like, what if I want like 5432 printed?
Okay. So for that once, whenever you want to print a tuple in the reverse direction, you can just write down from the index. 1 minute, let me tell you. Hmm. Okay, you can just you have to write down the function for that when you want to reverse it. So let me try with that. Eh, So, so you can that. So there are two way. Either you can do it in this way, or you can write a function as well. But right now I don't want to tell you the function because you might have not aware about it, how to create a user defined function. But when you want to print in the reverse direction, you have to write in this way, that all the rows, it means that all the rows and column in the reverse direction -1. So it means all the rows and column to print in a reverse direction.
Colon and -1.
So -1, it will going to start -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Then this. So like this, it will work. Any other question?
No, nothing else.
Okay. Let me explain you one more thing. Just 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to show you how you can initialize. If you want to print an element based on the naming that you want, how can you do that? So I'm just trying that. See here. What you can see here, that I created a variable XYZ and I'm initializing a value 1, 2, 3, right? So multiple variable I'm initializing at the same time. But suppose in a scenario you wanted to print those value based on the variable name that you wanted to assign to it. So how you can do it? So in that case, you are supposed to require this f. This f is what formats. Okay, these are a string format, means when you want to print anything according to your variable, like here capital X I have given, okay, for the X value. Similarly, capital Y for the Y value, capital Z for the Z value. So when you want to print based on your requirement, those capital variable or any variable, if I can change XYZ, capital XYZ variable to any variable, but when you want based on your requirement, you have to use this F, that is called a string specifier or string format, and based on that you can print it. So that's why we are able to print it. Do you understand this part?
Yes, yes. Is that the same f that you use like to give format to print function, the print statements? Like when you add multiple variables in a print statement, like
Yeah, it is the
you just
same.
put a,
Yeah, it's the
yeah.
same thing. Only the difference is that there I was not printing. Means here, if you want to print according to your requirement, string format, then you can give any variable name, and you can initialize a value to it.
Got it. Okay.
So this is all about data structures and all. So we can see some more thing. Set and all you are already aware, right? Uh,
Yes.
okay, one more thing I wanted to tell you. Set. Okay, in suppose for set, how we can declare set with curly brace, square bracket, parenthesis. Do you remember?
Uh, yes, yes. Like you use curly braces for dictionary,
Hmm.
right?
But for set, what we have used?
Uh, so
Okay,
parentheses,
let me
and like
open.
you type set in parentheses.
Let me open that. And I think I send you as well. But okay, that example I wanted to show you.
So I can pull it up.
Yeah, I can show you in my GitHub only.
For set.
So go through one's file whenever I share it so that you will
Okay,
remember.
yeah, set is also curly braces. Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay, in dictionary you have to give key and pair value, but if you don't give key and pair value, then it's a set.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
You can see here, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So here, suppose if you want to declare a set with parentheses, then also you can declare it. But for that, you have to use this predefined function set.
Set. Okay. I remember using like the set function, like when
Mhm.
you had a list and you had
Mhm.
to take how many unique values were there from a list. So
Okay.
what we used to do is like the use set
Okay.
bracket and like
Mhm.
add the list in it. So it would
Mhm.
just convert every like only keep
Mhm.
the unique values.
Yeah, correct. So the difference is here what? Here we are using predefined function set. Okay. And
Hmm.
the another thing is what here, if you create a same variable, okay, if you like uni, I'm creating a variable. Here also you can create a string, like suppose 1 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if I just run this, and if I print this uni, so you can see we are getting the unique value. So the difference is
Yes.
here, we are not using any function here. This is without predefined function. This is a set without predefined function. And this is a predefined function set. So this is a difference between these two. Okay. So with curly brace as well, you can declare it, and you can declare with a
Function.
predefined function as well. And if you want to add an element, to add an element to the set, how you can use it, you have to use add function, right?
Yes.
So for that uni add, you can add a function like suppose 9, and just run this. So you can see that. So this is I have already explained. And for removing an element also, same thing, we have used pop function. To remove an element, we use a pop function. So one more thing, if I wanted to access an element, will you able to access it?
Uh, okay. Can't you use square brackets? Okay, wait, not in square brackets. Okay.
Why? The reason is set have a no order. I told you
Okay,
that set doesn't having an order. That's why,
an order. Oh, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So that's why we cannot access an element while indexing.
Okay.
So set, this is also a important thing. You should be noted down from the interview perspective. Set has no order. Set have no order. Hence, cannot be accessed via indexing. So meanwhile, every day in the whenever we write, I will going to tell you some question as well with reasons, so you can note it down or you can remember it, so that in the interview you should be remember that, because these are the question as a data engineer they ask, mostly the data structure. And here also you can check it like is 9 in uni. Okay, if you want to check an element, that you can check it, but you cannot access the element with indexing.
So is there any other way to access elements, or like you have to just get the whole set?
No, we have to get the whole set. We cannot access the element because we are not required to access the element of the set.
Okay.
We can either through iteration we can print them, but we cannot access, because set is just a collection of an element in unorder sequence. So how we can access it? Suppose even if we want to access them, we cannot access it, because how we tell the system that on particular location which element is present and how we can access. But in other, we
Okay.
know that in this location the element is present. For example, index 1 having an element, so here in index 1 1 is there, in index 2 2 is there, but in set
Yes.
they are in unordered sequence internally in the memory as well. So this is about different operation that we do in the data structure. So we'll connect in the next class. I will going to explain you some more operation and the interviews question. So you can prepare it. I will going to share it, both the recording as well as the file. So yeah, it will be going to help you to prepare.
Okay, got it. Yes.
Let me rename it. Any question, anything that you have a doubt?
Nothing until now.
Okay.